Wapalayat and a very good evening. These are our top stories. Reliability of power supply on the island is expected to improve as the $5 million solar farm near the hospital has been commissioned. Power supply is now being sourced from the solar project in addition to diesel generators.
This is part of government's commitment to increasing the use of renewable energy on the island.
The renewable energy capacity now, including the 600 kilowatts of new solar power and the existing approximate 500 kilowatts that was already existing on Niue is now going to be sitting roughly at 40% renewable energy, which means that you still have 60% of the generation still coming from diesel generators.
Power supply is expected to improve as the new source of power is more reliable.
That is one of the major benefits of the new battery system is reliability of power. We now have a new generation source available at the power station. If there's faults with the generators, you can actually turn the generators off completely for a period of time, and the batteries will power the Niue grid. So reliability is hugely improved on Niue with this new project.
The project is funded through New Zealand Aid in collaboration with the Niuean government.
The project was really only made possible with the help of the Niuean infrastructure. We had a lot of help from NPC and use of a local contractor for a lot of the civil works on site, which we would not have been able to complete this in the time that we did without the support of the people of Niue.
Sofia Koritanoa, BCN News.
Upgrading of roads around the island is currently underway. The Office of the Premier has issued the final road repair program, which has started from Tamagotonga as of last week. Road repairs will be undertaken in Awasele to Vaea and Makefu to La Kepa. Potholes on roads around the island have been of major issue. Repairing will be subject to weather and other external factors. Motorists have been advised to please cooperate and drive carefully. The road repair program is funded by the Niuean and New Zealand governments. Government will be recruiting workers from overseas to assist with various jobs here in Niue. An official statement from the Office of the Premier stated this is due to the shortage of workers over the years for various reasons.
These labourers will assist with roading, picking noni and other odd jobs. The Office of the Premier stresses that they are here to assist when there is shortage of staff, not to replace local workers. It says they have identified the need for this since there have been problems faced in getting jobs completed on time. In the initial assessment, government had considered getting workers from various countries, but decided to use Avi Rubin's contacts to get the first lot in. 6 workers will be arriving from Indonesia soon. These workers will be here and will be paid, accommodated and transported by the government. They will be issued work permits and will be here for 2 years or less. Cost at this time, an allocation of $50,000 will be put into an account to be provided by the Financial Secretary, but it's expected they will be paid by the department, state-owned enterprises or project using them. Administration, the person earmarked to assist these workers, will be Sepa Taleni Seu. She will be working directly with the Acting Secretary of Government to coordinate the work. Sofia Koritanoa, BCN News.
The only duck in Niue has died. A post on the Mallard Duck's public figure Facebook page, Trevor the Duck announced he had been taken too soon by a dog. His namesake Speaker of the New Zealand House of Representatives, Trevor Mallard, posted deepest sympathy to the people of Niue from the Parliament of New Zealand underneath the death notice from his personal Facebook page. Trevor the Duck was believed to have blown and or flown the 2,400-kilometre journey to Niue from New Zealand in a storm around the start of 2018. He became a minor celebrity on the island and also attracted overseas media attention. Ticks have been found on the island, with the Agricultural Department taking the necessary precautions to contain the parasite from spreading.
Ticks are small bugs falling under the arachnids, classified as parasites, and are found on wild animals, in Niue's cases, wild pigs. All ticks feed on blood in order to survive and reproduce their offsprings. They latch on to bare skin and start cutting into the skin to begin their blood meal. High-risk areas of ticks latching on clothes or breaking skin is through tall grass or in the woods. A tick that was found last year by the Department of Agriculture was given to the Rockvets veterinarians to take overseas for further analysis. There were 2 cases of ticks that latched onto humans and were referred to the hospital for removal last year. According to the director of the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, that the spraying had started last year when the first lot of ticks were found on the northern side of the island to contain and kill the parasite. After the first spray session was completed, around 30 ticks were discovered and disposed of. To get rid of ticks that have not latched on, soak clothes in hot water to kill the ticks. The quarantine and death spraying program, as well as the pigsty visits, will recommence starting in the village of Mutalo. Katrina Toifasi, BCN News.
To United Nations Development Programme Global Environment Facility, UNDP GEF representatives, Mr. Filifilea Yosefa and Mr. Koki Yunuma, arrived on the island last week as a follow-up visit for the Small Grants Programme.
Now, the purpose of this visit is really to do a monitoring and evaluation process of the current projects that we are implementing in Niue. So far, we have 5 existing projects going. This week we have been visiting these 5 projects funded by the Small Grants Program under the Global Environment Facility funding mechanism.
The current 5 recipients of the GEF Small Grants Program include non-government organisations from the villages of Alofi North, Alofi South, Hakupu, Lakepa, Mutalo and Namakulu through their community and youth work. SGP Sub-Regional Coordinator Yosefa spoke highly of the progress of the existing projects, noting, however, the obvious setbacks, such as access on the island to resources to develop and progress the project work.
So far, it's good. We're really pleased to see a lot of progress being made by the 5 current grantees or the community-based organizations, but we still have some room for improvement. Like there's still a lot of some work to be done before the end of the project, which is this year. I think the time frame for all these 5 projects is 2 years. So we have a few projects to be completed in October, end of October of this year, and others in November, and then I think 2 in the end of December.
Mr. Koki Inuma, the volunteer intern that assisted Mr. Yosefa, highlighted what he said bigger countries should take as an example from Niue.
Well, I was really fascinated by the movement of non-plastic bag here in Niue, and that is something that we should really do in a big country too.
The program is facilitated by Niue's UN focal point and coordinator, Ms. Jay Ngataua. The team is set to return later during the year for continuation of monitoring and evaluation, as with assessments of the additional 7 projects approved to commence as of late last year through to this year. Cora Wycliffe, a Niuean curator and exhibitions manager based at the Corbin Estate Arts Centre in Henderson, is one of a rare handful of Niueans that currently practices hiapo making. Cora displayed at the Liku Show Day some of her works, including a siputa, small hiapo pieces, as with earrings designed by herself. Cora says she's already helped some of her family members produce hiapo. Not only is she helping revive and strengthen the practice of hiapo making, a tradition practiced by so few Niueans, it's a wish of her grandma's that's inspired her to carry out the family tradition and heritage. Cora intends on returning to Niue to celebrate the Arts and Cultural Festival, where she intends on continuing to promote hiapo making, as with selling some of her rare hiapo pieces. Held on the last week of December, the Liku was the last village to celebrate their annual show day last year. With the overcast weather combined with post-Christmas Day festivities and with the presumption of persons being out of pocket, the village was not to be in despair, as the turnout of people reflected the ever demand for local produce and cooked foods. For the visiting Niueans, it certainly was a treat with the general influx at that time of the year. The show day was also attended by the visiting Liku cricket team, of whom partook also on the day's festivities. It was a great turnout and day for the village of Liku, extending their warm gratitude for those in attendance and extended their best wishes to everyone for the new year. Niueans welcomed the new year 2019 with the annual Takai celebration. All villagers took to the roads on the first executive Saturdays of the first month of the year, celebrating the Takai with La Kepa, having started off the celebration following New Year's Day. The annual tradition saw a parade of motorists travelling in their decorated vehicles around the island. People of the respective villages lined the roadsides, watching the parade while the children enjoyed catching sweets being thrown out of the passing vehicles. This is the only time when derelict cars are allowed on the road, albeit closely monitored by the police, who do keep close watch of the parades. That ends our news for this evening. We look forward to seeing you this Thursday. Nonofwa, moi moruina.